guys, welcome back to Dawn Investments. Today's video is just going to cover some stocks that I've added to my watch list for this week that I think you guys should keep an eye out for, as the market's pretty turbulent right now. People are having a lot of red days. Some of these stocks are possibly a really good solution to turn to, especially during this specific time in the market. And in regular times as well, but especially during this time, turning to these stocks I'm going to mention and call out with its patterns could provide some help, some clarity, and hopefully some green days. But getting into the video, the first stock I wanted to go over, the first couple stocks I wanted to go over were some ETFs. The first one I wanted to cover was gold ETFs based on these gold futures slash GC. Looking at gold futures, you see pretty standard pattern. Uh, Uptrend to 1365, down to 1365, and as you guys can see here, it's making its way back up to 1365. And of course, with gold, especially with gold, out of all the ETFs, you should really pay attention to the news surrounding it. The tariffs and everything like that that affects imports and everything like that. But if you pay attention to the news and keep an eye out for the patterns, you can see that gold is on its way to 1365 again, and you can get into this for a day trade or swing trade. And of course, you can't trade the gold futures, so you would trade JNUG or JDST if you believe his gold is going down. But for the time being, based on gold futures patterns, I would definitely say looking at it for a day trade, to trade JNUG for a day trade wouldn't be a bad move. From here, it has some room for potential, and that is most likely reflected on JNUG as well. As you guys can see here, on the 1 hour 180-day chart is a very similar pattern here, and JNUG has a lot of room to grow too before gold hits 1365, around 7%. But I would definitely wait for the confirmation. It's been trending up for some time now, but with everything going on in the market, I would definitely be careful, and I want to hold overnight. Specifically, day trade would be fine. Today it opened and then it went up around 4% before it started declining. But if in terms of a day trade rather than a swing trade, if it hits the markers, and of course we're going to call it on our Discord as well for an entry point, or for JNUG or JDST. But for JNUG during a day trade, if it hits those patterns, if it breaks this resistance here at 1430, or bounces off this one at 1370, those are both great entry points for a potential day trade. So tomorrow, if you're looking to enter into JNUG, I'll wait for it to bounce off of 1374, or this support right here, or if it breaks this resistance right here, I'll wait for it to break it and then come back down and bounce off of it. And especially on red days, playing it safe like that, or not trading at all, could really help you make safe gains and not lose any money. The next ETF I wanted to go over was oil-based ETFs. These ones are pretty dominant. Had a lot of movement today. More so, Drip had a lot of movement today, as you guys can see. Made around a 12% run today for a day trade. And then looking at this again, these oil ETFs for a day trade for tomorrow, or even throughout the week, you can really base it off this chart pattern. As you guys can see, Drip today actually broke out of this downtrending line and is coming back down. If it continues to come back down, I wouldn't purchase it until it's back at this 1230 support point. But if it holds above this downtrend line that you guys can draw on your chart as well, then I would say that it'll be a good entry. But I'll definitely not buy it here. I'll wait for it to come down some more and then wait for the confirmation that it's going back up. The next one, GUSH, the inverse of Drip, is in a similar state, but this one is very interesting because we actually know the point in which this stock kind of reverses. It takes a very lot for the stock to break 24, and then even more for it to break 25. So buying a Gush at this point and then selling at 24 is always a solid plan. As you guys can see, from here to 24, it's around 10%. Also, going in for a day trade, I wouldn't say hold this for a swing trade right now unless you're 100% sure that it's going to go up. But for a day trade, buying this and then selling at 24 would be an ideal plan. But of course, pay attention to the overall chart as well. And as you guys can see on the overall 180-day chart, today it had its big downtrend, bounce off this called out support line, and it's trending up. Hopefully, it opens at a reasonable price, and then it's possible that it will go up to 24, and you can get in and get out for your 3 to 10% profit margin. The last pattern I want to go over was based on UGAS and DGAS. Um, Out of all the ETFs, I would say the most reliable right now would be Gush or Drip. But for if you're interested in UGAS and DGAS, I'm just going to cover it as well. Um, for UGAS and DGAS, I would say that DGAS is more so on a down, is a little bit extended. I would wait for it to break this resistance line at 1350. And then once it breaks that, I would wait for an entry point or wait for it to come back down and confirm that resistance as a new support. But if it doesn't do that, then I will wait for it to come back and get at the support around 2678. And if it's not at those two entry points, I wouldn't trade it. In terms of today, it moved up very heavily pre-market and then kind of consolidated. I would say consolidated for most of the day. So DGAS overall looks like it could run up tomorrow. But just to be safe again, I wouldn't trade this overnight just because of the possibility that it can trend down. But overall, as a day trade, I would say either DGAS or UGAS, they're both relatively similar, but I would definitely just wait for DGAS because the overall pattern you saw in UGAS is more of an option since it had that downtrend. But of course, this is all goes all in conjunction with the news it has. If there's good news for natural gas, then look towards UGAS. If there's bad news from natural gas, then look towards DGAS. But based just on technical analysis, I will definitely wait for DGAS, and UGAS will be a better trade based on technical analysis. But based on news, I'm not sure relatively which one has better news right now. We're going to do more research on that after the video. But if you guys do your own research on that, you'll see one of them will probably have, natural gas will probably have news in a positive or negative way. And that combined with your technical analysis would give you a better outlook on which one to trade. But overall, if you can't find the news article and you just want to simply base it off a technical pattern, I'll definitely wait on DGAS to confirm those two points I mentioned earlier, or get into UGAS as it's on its way up, and then sell at a reasonable point at a resistance like around here at 60 or at 57. The next couple of stocks aren't ETFs, but these are just ones I'm gonna want to call out as they're reversing, and because of that reversal, this would be a they all have pretty good opportunities to get in for a swing trade. But of course, you wait for that upward confirmation. The first one is a pretty popular one right now that's been on a pretty big downtrend. I know this one is probably going to come as a surprise, especially because of all the negative news that's coming out with Tesla. Right now, I wouldn't say hold this overnight at all. I would definitely wait for it to start showing signs that it's going back up. As you can see, I have alerts set at different points to make sure that I would get in while it's uptrending. But right now, keep in mind that it's near a very strong support, where in the past, um, let me even go back a little farther. This is a pretty strong support where in the past it's confirmed several times, and if it breaks under this one, its next strongest support would be at 182, which I doubt Tesla would go that far down. But anything's possible with the stock market, so keep that in mind. But right now, it's at a pretty strong support. It's nearing it at 244 or 242. And from there, you can get in for a bounce for a day trade or a swing trade. Swing trade, if you're feeling risky, but more so a day trade. As you guys can see, as it got near that support point, it's jumped up around 7% for the day. So Tesla definitely has some profit potential if you're looking at it for a day trade. So if you're looking at that, watch out for it to fall down to this price point at 242, and from there you can get in for a pretty nice day trade. So I would send an alert around this point, or maybe a little bit off of it around 244, just like this, at or below the 244 price point. And once it hits that, you'll be alerted, and you can possibly be getting in for a pretty good day trade as long as it holds that point. The next one I want to call out is CY. This one would be a pretty good swing trade if it confirmed this pattern. As you guys can see, it's been trending up, going up to this trend line, coming back down, going up, coming back down. And right now it's down, and it has around 10 to 17% growth. So based on that alone, I'll say this wouldn't be a bad swing trade, but I'll definitely wait for it to start showing upward signs. And of course, we're going to call it on a group chat if we see those signs, but on your own accord, I would just set some alerts, alerting you whether or not it's uptrending or not. Like just send alerts at different price points, and from there you can kind of have a rough estimate if it's going up or not. And based on that, you can get in for a swing trade. And the last one I want to call out was XXII. This one again is pretty low. This one I wouldn't hold too long or put too much into it. This one is more of a risky one, but this is someone did ask me about this stock in a private message, so I just wanted to cover this one. It's at a pretty low point as well. It hit a strong support here at 211, and it's been trending up ever since. We called it out as well in our Discord at this point, and it's up around 10% from there. So if you went in for a swing, it would have been a pretty good swing from there. Um, but as of right now, I would say the next resistance point is here at 250, and if it breaks that, maybe you can get into around 280, and that'll be a pretty good trade. But right now, it's downtrending, as you guys can see here. It's a pretty solid downtrend. So definitely be careful if you're interested in XXII. But overall, that's really it for what I want to cover. Hopefully, you guys can add some of this to your watch list. If we have any more, we'll call them out on our Discord like we do on a usual basis. If you have any questions, you can at me in our Discord or private message me or anything like that, and I'll try my best to answer your questions. Hopefully, this video helped, and we hope you stay green. But overall, just good luck trading in the weeks ahead. Thank you.